Well, I had a couple of people ask me what machines I use. What are the best machines for saltwater beach hunting? I can tell you that everybody has an opinion, whether it's MyLab, Whites, Garrett's, Radio Shacks, Tesoro, XP Deus, whatever. You can sit here all day and come out. Tesoro, tons of detectors, but it's been my own way of thinking that over the years, the most of my finds have been MyLab, with MyLab metal detectors. These are my three favorite machines. This is all I'll use at the beach. You won't see me out there with a Garrett AT Pro. Saltwater beaches are their own animal. It's not like hunting a freshwater beach, a park, or a playground. These MyLab machines, they're built for some pretty good saltwater hunting. I'll show you the three machines I have. I have the MyLab, the original Explorer XS. I also own a MyLab 2. I don't have it here right now. It's a great one, great machine. It's got a rechargeable battery pack. I upgraded the armrest to a metal armrest. It comes with a plastic V style, and they break, so you definitely want to upgrade it. It has 28 frequencies. It's a super machine. Got a backlight. You can do a whole bunch of stuff with the programs. Got a menu. On this machine, I added a Coil Tech 15-inch watt. It comes with a stock 10-inch coil. I'm a big fan of big coils on the beach. This Coil Tech found me thousands of rings over the years. I think Coil Tech makes some of the best coils in the world for metal detecting. This machine is excellent machine. It can be found for $300 to $400 used on eBay. If you're on a budget, I would definitely get one of these. You can get really crazy with some of this stuff and spend, thousands and thousands of dollars. But this machine will do its job. That's the key, especially on saltwater beaches. Definitely found, like I say, many rings with this thing. Superb machine. I use Grey Ghost headphones with all my machines. I've had good luck with Grey Ghosts. Some people, they swear by Black Widows or whatnot, and I guess it's everybody has their own preference, but I have to tell you that these Grey Ghosts are great. These NTDs are even better. You'll have actually a cord here that you can pop it out, so if something's wrong with a cord, they actually send you a replacement cord. And that way you can actually use these headphones for a little longer. They extends the life of them. So that's a nice feature on those. But definitely get some Grey Ghosts. As for pure water machines, I got to tell you, this Excalibur 2, probably the best water machine ever created for metal detecting. It comes on a factory shaft. And that shaft is not very well balanced. If you're going to use this out of the water for extended periods of time, you definitely want to go with a straight shaft. I actually have the tall man's rod on mine. Some of them come with a short shaft, and it can really mess your back up if you're a taller individual. So I prefer the longer shaft. And like I say, I have it on a shaft where it goes under your arm. And you can swing this for eons, and you're not going to have that fatigue you would have if you had left this on the regular shaft, the stock shaft that comes with it. Some guys, they'll put the pinpoint over here on the handle shaft, and that's great. A lot of guys hunt in pinpoint mode, and you're going to get a lot more depth. I've always hunted in discriminate mode on this. I do a lot of freshwater hunting. I've had good luck with this machine. I'll be using this in the freshwater, especially next year. We'll be doing a bunch of videos. I'm going to be traveling the state doing a whole bunch of freshwater lakes with diving gear, and we're going to be using this Excalibur 2 on the swim floats. I think it's going to net us a lot of stuff, and that will be a machine. My third machine, though, I really like this CTX 3030. I've been using this for the last year, and to me, they've actually juiced the sounds. It's real good. Performance is awesome. Target separation is to die for. I use the Grey Ghost headphones with that. Superb machine. Rechargeable battery pack. Headphones, you can actually take the headphone jack out entirely and use waterproof headphones, which I have a pair now, we'll be using this in water too. I do have the new machine. The old machine had a gasket problem. They improved the new one with a new gasket. Now it fits really snugly. So that's a bonus. I'm going to be taking this machine today and actually replacing that stock coil down there, the 10-inch coil. And I'm going to be replacing it with a 17-inch for beach. I really like to get on the wet sand areas, but I like the bigger coils. I'm really not a fan of the small coils. So we'll be doing that. To get these machines, you're going to be real gentle when you're replacing coils on these machines. You can probably see on this, if you look down in there, the pins are very small. This is a problem that MyLab's had. If you guys own the older Sovereigns back in the 90s, this wire would always have little tiny wires in there. You probably could see them through that gel, and they'd always break. The Sovereigns were funny. You'd hip mount the Sovereigns back in the day, and one of these wires would always break, and the coil would go bad. Always a little problem, so you got to be very gentle with these. I've had some guys too I talked to that actually, they went to go connect this, and they actually broke the pins in there that hold that coil. You can actually see that pin. You got to be real careful too with this shaft. It's going to move back and forth, and there's a button underneath right here, and you got to push that button up to free that out, and that will swing back and forth just like that. See that? Yep. Now it clicked. You got to push that button back down to release that mechanism to get that to work. So what we'll do now is we're going to replace that 10-inch coil down there. And like I say, I'm going to go with that 17-inch. I'm a real big fan of bigger coils, and I think that will work well. I also noticed something else. I don't know if anybody else has witnessed this. The coil covers on these CTXs, they're absolute junk. Don't know what the cause of that is, but I've actually gone through a few of them. I know I metal detect a lot. I'm probably crazy like you guys, but I'm going to have to replace that. I'm going to go ahead and replace it, clean this up, and we'll store this old coil. Also, I bought an extra armrest. You got to kind of be careful with these armrests. Plastic. Anytime something's plastic, it's going to break. It's always good to carry something extra with you. But these are my three machines. Over the years, MyLab, I've had super luck with MyLab machines. I've used White's before. I had a White's PI Pro, and it was a pulse machine. That did its job too. The only problem with those machines is they pick up a lot of trash. You get a lot of iron sparklers up on these New England beaches, iron nails. So that's a tough machine. But if you're going to do saltwater beach hunting, I got to tell you, the MyLab line, it's going to run circles around any other metal detector. And I would recommend MyLab or Pulse machines. Tesoro makes a Pulse machine. I believe it's called the Sand Shark. I've used it before, and it's pretty good. White's makes some PI machines. Garrett, there's some other guys, detectors that have PIs. And those are multiple frequency machines. This is 28, this is 28, and this is 17 on frequency. And you need a multiple frequencies. They cut through that beach sand just like a knife cutting through butter. And that's why you see the guys out here with the MyLabs. They get the deeper stuff, the stuff that's way down in that highly mineralized sand. And that's how I've had the luck over the years. A lot of the jewelry I find it's going to be in that wet sand area, or in that area where it transitions to wet sand from the dry sand. I've had, in the past, like I say, great luck with the MyLab Sovereigns. I had the earlier Excalibur 1000. That was a great machine. Had good luck with that back in the day. Used some different Explorers. The 2 works great. You get an extra screen and some other stuff with it. But like I say, if you're on a budget, go with the earlier Explorers on eBay. You can save quite a bit of money. One can be found for anywhere between $350 to $450 if you can bargain for it. If you really want into water hunting, I definitely go with an Excalibur. Super machine in the water. I still think it's the best in the water. A little bit of a mixture of both. CTX 3030. Very expensive. You're looking at $2,000. This is the newer version, like I say, with the improved gasket. Get yourself a good pair of Grey Ghost headphones. They work superb with this machine. And this machine can be used in water, not heavy diving, but it can be used in for wading. And like I say, we'll be changing that coil out today. So stay tuned. So here's my Excalibur 2. It's all ready to go for the water. These headphones here, these can be difficult a little bit. These Koss yellow ones, they're very uncomfortable. I know there's a couple of guys online, they upgrade these. Tony Eisenhower, he's got a super site. He actually does the upgrades on the headphones, and he has the blue ones. They sound better, much more comfortable to wear. I still have the yellow ones on here. It really doesn't, bother me much. But these can be very uncomfortable. If you're in the water for 5 or 6 hours in the day, these can really hurt your ears, actually. They can wear on your ears. Like I say, the pinpoint on this, you can actually add a pinpoint trigger on these, especially if you run in pinpoint mode. And that way, you won't have to keep switching back and forth between disc and pinpoint, which brings up another problem with these machines. MyLab, for whatever purpose, they have the best machines on the market, but they're prone to break. These buttons are so cheap, they just break right off, and they sell aftermarket ones, bigger buttons. You have to be very, very careful when you're turning these bigger buttons, though, the bigger knobs. The bigger knobs can actually break the pots if you overcompensate when you turn this machine off. So be wary and gentle when you're turning these new knobs. And like I say, that way you won't break the pots inside of here. As for battery packs, I have the rechargeable. They actually have battery packs where you can put alkaline batteries in, and that's helpful if you got a full day hunt and your battery runs down. Well, you'll have an extra pack. Once again, I have this long shaft to keep the weight compensation off. I don't want to kill my arm. Also, they have the knob guards, which you'd want to look into. If you're in the water, your elbow could actually hit these knobs, knock them out of whack, and they have a guard that you can actually put on these. Some guys have them on there. I know Tony does superb jobs with the pinpoint button on his, and that's something that, like I say, if I use this machine more, I would definitely get a pinpoint, but I don't. I don't use it enough. I use the CTX more. I'm more of a saltwater hunter, but like I say, we're going to be doing a lot of freshwater hunting this year too. So can't wait for this, and we'll be using this machine as our go-to in the freshwater. You got to be careful with these shafts. This wire here, you want to make sure it's all the way up. If this wire is bunched down at the bottom, it's going to create a field on top, and this thing will fault. So it will act like there's a target underneath the coil, and there's not. It's just faulting from a bunched up coil on top here. Down here you can actually see the nylon bolt. You want to make sure you have a nylon bolt and don't use a metal one. It will have the same effect. It will fault underneath this coil if you have a metal bolt or a metal nut on here. So that's why they have nylon nuts on these things. A lot of people don't realize that. I've seen that problem before. And like I say, I have the longer shaft here, and that helps with my back. The short shafts can be tough. If you're a taller guy, you're 6 foot, 6'5", it can really cause havoc on your back if you have the short shaft. So I have the longer one, and this is an excellent water machine. I think it's one of the best ever built, and we'll be using that. That's some of the weak points and some of the good points on this machine. So I'm really excited and looking forward to using this in the water. So this is the CTX 3030, and basically this is a super machine. You got to be real careful when you thread the search coil through on this nut, because you can actually break a lot of pins in here, and that would be a problem if that happens. So you got to be careful when you thread that through. You got to line those pins up with the hole on this coil right here. We'll pull that right up. You can take a look. So you got to be careful. This thing, the bottom shaft, has a keyhole right here. You can see it, and it will fit into this top piece of the shaft just right. You got to slide that in and then fish this up. what I do is I like to tie a piece of string on here, and I'll pull that right up through and right up and through here, which will bring it right up, and we'll tie that in. We're going to be adding that 17-inch coil on today. I'm going to be taking off the old coil and putting that and storing it. So I have the 10-inch stock coil for the MyLab taken off, and I've rinsed out the nuts with some water. I've checked the rubber gaskets. That's good. We're going to clean the lower shaft. There's a few things though with these. I have a new coil cover. When you're metal detecting, there's a little trick. Sometimes your coil will faults, and what happens is over time you can actually get black sand that builds up in the coil cover itself, between the coil cover and the coil. That black sand can actually cause faulting with your machine. It's a good idea to, during the year, your metal detecting year, summer, whatnot, to take this coil cover off and to wash it down with some water with a garden hose. Can completely clean this coil out so there's no black magnetite in there or any rust that could possibly cause faulting with your machine. Good little tip over the years. Sometimes people aren't aware of it, and the machine starts to act erratically and they can't figure it out or send it in for service, when all it needed was that little, little bit of cleaning out underneath the coil. In my case, I'm putting a new coil cover on, so we'll do that and we'll be all set. Here's the new coil cover right now. I'm going to take this right over. We'll set that up down there. And this will come right over like this. Snaps right into place. We'll go around, line it up, and just snaps right on. Go around that whole coil and pop it into place. We've got a new coil cover. And I'll keep this coil, and we'll put it away, and we'll use it when we want to go back to a 10-inch stock coil. My detectors apart when I get a down day. Clean everything. Battery looks good. Check over all my stuff. You hate to go out in the field and have something break. This is the headphone component here, and when you're not in the water and you're just doing dry sand, this simply screws onto the back right over here. It goes right into place and screws in. And then you take this off when you want to go into the water, and you hardwire basically your headphone jack in over here. It goes straight in and ties in, which is really nice. Battery compartment, like I say, they've upgraded this seal, and that really hooks in and gets a nice watertight seal on there, which is nice. The old ones leaked like sieves. That's why I didn't buy a CTX earlier. It's got the little stand on the bottom, which is nice, and it's all ready for the 17-inch coil wire, and it's going to come up through, and I'm going to take a piece of fishing line, and I'm going to thread that down through, and I'm going to actually grab tie on and pull that straight up. It's a little easier to do it with MyLabs. The Explorer, it works fabulous on if you do that. Use a little piece of fishing line. I'll show you how I do that. And I check over all my parts, and I make sure nothing's broken. Everything's riding good, and I'm all set up for next winter and next summer with this machine. So we'll go from there. Here's the coil. I'm gonna open this sucker up. Bring this over here. All right, so what we got? All right. Voila. There she is. Serious Metal Detecting. They're out of Michigan. Pretty good company. I've had good luck with them. Comes with some extra hardware on the bottom down here. Ooh. Rubber washers. got a coil cover on there. Looks ready, good and ready to go. 17 inch. We'll put it on. Alright, so I ran the wire through the shaft, and once again up here on this end you got to be very, very careful not to bend any pins or break any pins. You can't really force it. You want to be gentle with it and make sure it just slides in nice and easy, because this is a problem. It could be a problem if you really try to force it. You end up breaking a pin off, and then you got to send it into MyLab, and they're not too cheap to fix anything. So she's in. Now we'll set the coil up and get it turned right and tighten the bolts down. And gave me some new set of bolts and rubber washers, and that's good because friction builds on those rubber washers and the coil can move up and down on its own, so that helps. Alright, we got it on. We clicked this back into place, tightened all of our connections down, put the battery in, cleaned up everything on this thing today. Got the stem pretty much set up, and here she is. Got the machine on. We're going to test her. Nice depth. Woo! We're using the little toy train. Nice tones. Sounds good. And we're good to go. We now have the 17-inch coil on this. See you at the beach.